Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health risk for December 23rd, 2025. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. And if, of course, you shop on Amazon, we have a storefront, Patient Weather, on Amazon. Purchases made through our storefront on Amazon to support the activities of the Patient Weather. Looking at the surface map for the 23rd, although high pressure seems to be dominant across 90% of the country, there is an extensive frontal system stretching all the way from San Francisco into central Montana, back through St. Louis, over to Philadelphia, and up to a new low that's brewing over the southeastern Canada, with the warm front trying to push its way through New England. Lots of unsettled weather up and down the western seaboard. You'll note that it's extending all the way down through Southern California, trying to push its way into the Four Corners. There will be a little bit of unsettled weather here in the Tennessee and Ohio Valley, and then lots of unsettled weather again up here in New England. Looking at our vitality index, which is a compilation or a measure of all of those elements that do have an impact on human health, and you'll see we have a lot of activity here along the west coast, a lot of activity up here on the upper plains and west of the Great Lakes, and then even more activity up and down the Appalachians up into New England. Looking at pressure change, and pressure change is always important for those that are sensitive to weather change. We have falling pressure along the west coast, all the way from Southern California up into the westernmost regions of Oregon. Lots of activity again across Northern California. And we have falling pressure all the way from the Carolinas, all the way up through Virginia, up into West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and across New England. We do have rising pressure here in the northern plains, stretching from Kansas to North Dakota, covering northern Missouri through Iowa, Minnesota, and moving on east into Wisconsin. Temperature change, very pleasant temperature changes, although we have some falling temperatures here again in North Dakota and Minnesota. You'll note that we have a swath of very nice warming temperatures all the way from Arkansas, Missouri, across the Tennessee and Kentucky and Ohio valleys, up and down the East Coast from Georgia and the Carolinas all the way up to Pennsylvania, and a touch of warmth trying to make its way into New England. Looking at the change in dew point, we can see rising dew point temperatures really swooshing in from the Gulf all the way across Texas up into, again, the Kentucky, Tennessee area, the middle Atlantic states into New England. And the vapor pressure again confirming most of that same activity, and you can see that moisture trying to stream into the Four Corners. Looking at POI, or the change in the oxygen availability, we can see we do have a risk of migraine here across Vancouver into northwestern Washington state, and then a significant area of migraine risk across Southern California into Arizona. Another large area of migraine risk from eastern Colorado to across Kansas, up Nebraska to the Dakotas, over into northern Missouri, across Iowa, Minnesota, and out of Wisconsin, and probably covering in the Michigan Upper Peninsula. The risk of asthma and arthritis, however, is very significant, especially across northern California, and then jumping to the east, picking up in Oklahoma, cutting across southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, and then significant up and down from Alabama up through Indiana, across Ohio, all the way back down south to Georgia, and then up the eastern seaboard all the way through Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and on across New England, and all of the Canadian cities from Windsor to Quebec. Note the most significant area of risk is here in the Carolinas up through West Virginia into western Pennsylvania. Thanks for visiting Patient and the Weather. Your comments are appreciated. And if you hurt, won't you tell us where you're located?